I'm here at Two People's Bay Nature Reserve in Albany, home to the iconic West Australian species, the Gilbert's potteroo and the noisy scrubbird, as well as several threatened species of flora, fish, mammals and reptiles. Here in Albany, in the southwest of WA, we're in a biodiversity hotspot. Preserving areas like this is pivotal to the conservation of species in Australia. But with over 1,600 threatened species listed under the EPBC Act, where do we start? In this short video, I'll be addressing one of the tools which conservationists use to try to improve the status of threatened species in Australia, that is, recovery plans. Recovery plans are described by the Department of Environment and Energy as, and I quote, documents which set out the research and management actions necessary to stop the decline of and support the recovery of listed threatened species or threatened ecological communities. Their aim is to maximise the long-term survival in the wild of a threatened species or ecological community. Since 1999, when the EPBC Act was established, approximately 600 recovery plans have been put together, covering over 850 threatened species and costing around $17 million. Several research teams in the US and in Australia have recently begun to focus on whether recovery planning is an effective tool for species conservation. To summarise a few of these studies, Watson et al. Conducted a comprehensive review of recovery plans in Australia. They found that there was no significant difference to the recovery of species that have recovery plans versus those without. They also found that there was a strong bias in both species listed under the EPBC Act and those with recovery plans. Just 7.6% of species that should be listed as threatened species were listed. The other significant finding was a lack of outcome data, or easy way of accessing existing data. This finding was consistent amongst all studies that I looked at, showing that in effect there was a lack of funding available to ascertain whether or not investment in recovery plans is worthwhile. Another study which grabbed my attention was by Bottrell et al. In 2011. This study matched species into cohorts with similar characteristics such as body length, public appeal and taxonomic groups. This method was designed to eliminate confounding factors when looking for a correlation between the absence or presence of a recovery plan and the recovery, decline or stability of a species. The results showed that there was no significant difference in recovery between species which had recovery plans and those who didn't. However, an unexpected result of this study showed that species with recovery plans were far more likely to improve due to increased surveying. Another important fact to consider is what method of recovery planning is most effective. There has been a recent shift away from single species recovery planning towards landscape scale and multi-species recovery plans. Two People's Bay itself has a landscape scale recovery plan, which is quite comprehensive and discusses many threatened species which exist in this national park. This can be more effective as it takes landscape-scale threats into account. MSRPs, or multi-species recovery plans, can also save time and money by incorporating many threatened species into one document. However, an analysis by Clark and Harvey in 2002 found that species with MSRPs were significantly more likely to experience a declining status trend, and that MSRPs exhibited poorer understanding of species biology, are revised less frequently, and are less likely to have adaptive management strategies. In summary, I think it is important to weigh up the pros and cons of recovery plans and to develop some recommendations about how this process could be improved. Recovery plans still have many benefits, however it is questionable as to whether they fulfill the aims laid out by the Department of the Environment. I believe that recovery planning should continue as a process because it is a useful tool in many ways. But to maximise efficacy, a few changes need to be made. We need to lessen the bias in which species receive recovery plans. We need to improve research when writing recovery plans so content is most likely to provide maximum impact on species recovery. We need to prioritise management actions within plans so that funding can be allocated with maximum efficiency. We need to follow up recovery plans with funding for recovery actions. The biggest barrier to management actions not being enacted is funding. What's the point in spending money on recovery plans if we don't follow them up with money for management? We need to perform proper evaluations, and last of all, we need to collate the data from the recovery plans and from those evaluations and for landscape threatening processes into a centralised document which is easy to access. Thank you. That's it.